Sometimes change happens on a very individual or familial level. And when I was working at PFund, one of my favorite ways of knowing we were having an impact was when we would bring our scholarship recipients together. And without fail, we would have a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle show up to that scholarship reception with the recipient, and they would be crying, and we would ask them, "What's going on? Why are you crying?" And they would always say, "I was so scared for my niece, my nephew, my son, my daughter, this person that I care for, my student. I was so scared for them to leave home because being out has been difficult for them. And now I know there's a community in this region." I'm Alfonso Wenker, and I'm the Director of Program Strategy and Racial Equity for the Minnesota Council on Foundations. And really what that means is I support grant makers in the state who are interested in advancing equity on race, gender, and sexuality, as well as do professional development, training, and consulting with foundations. I call PFund one of my homes. It's sort of where I grew up. I got involved with the organization when I was 20 years old. I held a number of different roles at PFund. I've done everything. I've sat in every chair, you name it. I was just really inspired by the 30,000-foot view of how this work happens and the opportunity to connect the dots among organizers, among organizations, among students, among community leaders. There is no other LGBT foundation that's looking at all of these 5 states and thinking about the common threads across them and thinking about how do activists in Iowa connect with leaders in North Dakota and not just bring people together, but ask the question, then how can we resource that work? PFund is it's my absolute favorite organization in the region and is my #1 giving priority, and I think is vitally important to the work that's happening in our region for LGBT communities, and I can't really imagine who else would fill that gap if they weren't connecting the dots and resourcing all the great organizing that's happening.